Today I'm showing you 10 of my favorite cubing life hacks to make your life as a cuber easier. Stick around to the end because the last one is guaranteed to help a lot of people out. My first life hack is actually a really useful one. If you're struggling to get a logo off a cube, then you can just use some nail polish remover. However, do be careful with this because nail polish remover is pretty hungry. If you spill this on your cube, you're low-key cooked. So for the second life hack, you can actually use a microfiber cleaning cloth to get stuff like hair off of your mats. And I've just made this mat like really dirty. And if I try to use my hand, it does not work very well. But, see, that barely moved. If I use this microfiber cloth, just look at this hair. Okay, that might be right there. But anyway, microfiber cloths are actually really good for cleaning cube mats. They're a lot better than just using your hand. And also for some little stuff, dusters can be pretty good too. But that's not the only thing you can use microfiber cleaning cloths for. You can also use them to clean your cubes. I have this really dirty edge piece here, and I'm just going to clean it off while I talk. You know, people normally use paper towels, but those are only like a one-time use, and they can rip sometimes, so they're not the best solution. But once I got these microfiber cloths, and I started using them to clean cubes, they do a really good job. See, this piece was completely coated in black lube, but I got most of it off. There's still some down there that I couldn't quite reach, and breaking up the piece will help me clean it some more. But yeah, microfiber cloths are way better than paper towels. If you turn really fast on the 3x3, you're going to lock up a lot. So sometimes turning slower and more controlled can be better, because then you're not going to lock up as much. And I see a lot of people do this, so I'm going to do a T-perm as fast as I possibly can. And a 1.73. But if I just do this T-perm kind of slowly and controlled, I get a 1.06. That's a big difference in cubing. So if you're like me, you don't really like matte plastic cubes. You know, they're slippery. But just by doing a bunch of solves on them, like a lot, maybe like 500, you can pretty much get rid of that matte plastic feel and kind of have a glossy plastic. Because I think this is like your finger oils getting on the cube. And then also just like the wearing down of the matte plastic. So if you don't like matte plastic, then just do a bunch of solves and the matte plastic should go away. If you've ever assembled a big cube before, you know it can be really hard to keep all the pieces in place. So using tape to keep all the pieces in place is actually a really good solution. It keeps all the pieces in place and it works really well. Except when you get to the last layer, you know, you might have to take some off so you can actually pull the layers apart to put the piece in. But besides that, just like, I know this is a 6x6, the first, or all the other layers, taping them can be a really good solution, so use tape. Assembling a square one can be really hard, but it can actually be easier if you take apart the pieces, put like the main piece back in, and then kind of reassemble them in the cube. Then it's a lot easier. It works a lot better for corners. I know this is an edge. Couldn't really get the corner out, but definitely try this when you're assembling your next square one. Now I have to use this hack to reassemble this square one. If you're scrambling a big cube with your hands, so like not a computer scramble, hand scrambling it, it takes a really long time to get all the pieces kind of separated. So what you can do is just checkerboard it before you scramble it, because this will already break up a lot of the pieces. And then you just start scrambling, and this already looks a lot more scrambled. I guess just the checkerboard pattern, but this does help a lot with scrambling faster on big cubes with hand scrambles. If you're like me, then slow solves to practice F2L just don't work for you. You know, like solve your cross, and then just solve your F2L pairs and then just look at your next pair and solve it with your eyes closed, it doesn't really work. So one tip that I found that is really helpful practicing look ahead is turning at a speed to solve F2L. Then you can actually see everything that's happening and look ahead. So I'm doing this right now. And you're going to want to start really slowly, but then work your way up until you get comfortable. And then sooner or later, yeah, you'll be at a speed where you're comfortable with look ahead. For the final life hack, what you have to do is go to Speedcubedb, the website I'm on, and once you're at the home page, click on Scramble Analyzer, and close this ad. Looks like I'm back here. Okay, then you enter your scramble here, so maybe RU is your scramble. And then if you got an X cross, you can do that, and then choose your cross color. So if you remember solving on white cross, just click all of these, and then click over here, Analyze. And it will find all the different cross solutions. And then it found all the F2L pairs, last layer solutions, and total solutions. So here, if you got a full step, you would click full step. If you got OLO skip, you could click OLO skip, and PLO skip is this. So I find this feature really helpful because sometimes I get PLO skips, so I can just eliminate half of them.